What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. And today, well, it's a nice, simple top 5. Yes, my current top 5 foldable phones. This will spark debate and you can leave as many comments as you like, but this is my opinion, so deal with it. Let's go. Now, I have to shout out the big man, the GOAT Flossie Carter, for this reminder / idea. I've done top 5s many times before, and you ask for my top 5 all the time. But Flossie included it in his Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold review, which I highly recommend you go watch. So I figure it's probably about time that I give you my top 5. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about these phones because I've already done quite a lot of content on all of them, in particular the number 1 spot. But I will give you a brief overview of the reasons why I have these particular phones in my top 5. So without further ado, at number 5, it's the OnePlus Open. Whether it be the Apex edition or the regular edition, the OnePlus Open is a fantastic foldable phone. My number 1 foldable phone of 2023. So I think just showing that a full year to year and a half later, the fact that the OnePlus Open can still command a place in the top 5, that should be all you need to know. But to give you a bit of more reasoning why, the crease, or lack of crease. To this day, the Oppo is probably the best implementation of a hinge mechanism that causes basically zero crease, whether you're looking at it or running your finger across it. And that's massive, folks. The OnePlus was also the first foldable phone, in my opinion, to have the perfect aspect ratio. A proper candy bar phone on the outside with squared off edges, and then when you unfolded it, you got a near 8-inch display, again creaseless display. And I also want to shout out OnePlus for having the number 1, yes, still to this day, the number 1 speakers on any device, not foldable device, just on any device, any phone I should say. In my opinion, those triple spatial audio speakers sound fantastic still to this day. Whether it be the cameras or the multitasking with the OnePlus Canvas, or the Open Canvas they call it. I like the fact that you had that 3 apps side by side and the capabilities to multitask to your heart's content. So that was number 5. Let's move on to my 4th favourite foldable phone ever, I want to say. It's a Huawei Mate XT. Yes, I'm not sure if you expected this to be in it or if you expected it to be higher, but this device is groundbreaking. It's pioneering. It's the first trifold device in the history of mobile technology, and I love it. I have a lot of reasons that I will get into much deeper in my full review, but to give you the cliff notes, the display, the speakers, the battery, the wow factor, which, yes, let's be honest, folks, when you're spending $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a phone, you kind of want that wow factor. And as I mentioned already in all my XT videos, while this phone is only for the 0.01% of the population, when you are in that bracket, because you travel a lot, commuting on trains, planes, automobiles, there's just nothing better. It's so handy. I used it on, well, yeah, planes, trams, trains, and it's just, yeah, absolutely fantastic. However, it's a Huawei, so there are Google issues. You have to do a workaround to get any Google apps, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. You have to do workarounds. And the battery is good. It's 5600 milliamp hours. But for a 10-inch tablet display, it really needs to have a 6 or 7 in front of that number, I would say. A 7000 milliamp hour battery could have been achieved with the thin credit card carbon batteries that they use nowadays. But I'm not going to deduct too many points. And again, from mostly a wow factor and that 10.2 inch OLED display at 3.6 millimeters unfolded, yeah, this had to be in my top 5. And it just pipped the OnePlus, basically because of innovation. Now, the top 3 are probably not going to surprise you. Maybe the order will, but these are, without a shadow of a doubt, the best 3 foldable phones available today. And Samsung Nights, you're going to have to do one for just now, because there's no way a Samsung device, a Samsung Fold device, gets in any of my top 5 lists. But for those asking, the Samsung Special Edition Fold phone, yes, I'll be stocking it at the Average Dad Tech Store because it is only going to be available in Korea and China, so I am told. But I'll make a separate video about that. I guess, like I always do with Samsung, I just expected more. Fool me. So number 3 is the Honor Magic V3. The world's thinnest foldable phone, and it packs all the specs you could possibly want. Coming from the Honor Magic V2 of last year, with no wireless charging, with a fairly mediocre camera setup, this just blows it away. The triple camera setup is fantastic on the Honor. Magic OS 8 has improved considerably to previous versions of Magic OS, and 50 watts wireless charging on deck, all in a 9.2mm folded package. Just unbelievable. We talked about the wow factor with the XT. More often than not, when I hand this device to someone, they think, okay, yeah, it's an Android phone. But then when I unfold it, they're like, holy shit, that thing unfolds. It is mind-blowingly thin when unfolded as well as folded. So Honor have ticked many boxes this year in terms of upgrading their Honor Magic V2, and I can't praise Honor enough for that. There's a few slight drawbacks for me. While the camera has improved, it just isn't quite as good as the top 2 phones on this list, but also the software. If this was just a pure software comparison, Samsung would be in there, OnePlus would be higher. But it's not all about software. For me, I put a lot of weight on cameras and hardware. And I think that's where mine and Flossie Carter's list differs. He had the Z Fold 6 in his list. He had the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold at number 1, where me, I have it at number 2. And I'll talk about it in a second, but I have it number 2. His number 5 foldable phone is my number 1 foldable phone. And I know you know what it is. Listen, it's a Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, and I'm going to talk about it more in depth in a second, but you cannot constantly complain about how foldable phones get trash cameras. For years, that's all we've heard. It was only really last year with the OnePlus, with the Pixel Fold, with the Vivo X Fold 2, kind of, and a couple of others, that we started to see slightly better camera setups. And then this year, with the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro, with the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, these are truly flagship camera setups. Yes, the Googles could be better, but when you pair it with the software optimization and the post-processing, they're immaculate photos and videos. So this year, we're getting proper flagship standard cameras, particularly on the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro. And that's all I was looking for. If I'm paying £1,200 for the Chinese or £1,100 for the Chinese version, or £1,700 for the global version of the Vivo. I want flagship cameras. So for Floss to have it number 5 slightly confused me. I can't see in any world where the Z Fold 6 is better than the X Fold 3 Pro, unless you're talking strictly software. I mean, even the crease implementation, the weight, the thickness, the battery capacity, literally every category on the X Fold 3 Pro and the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is better than that Z Fold 6. So a couple of highlights about the 9 Pro Fold and why it's at number 2 on my list. Number 1 is that software. The stock Google with that Gemini Advanced or basic Gemini implementation is fantastic. All the camera, Magic Eraser, Add Me and Take Me Away, all those cool tools that you get through AI are actually worth using on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, unlike some other devices that have their AI stuff. Then there's the form factor. I talked about the OnePlus Open being almost basically the perfect form factor. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold is that, if not slightly larger. Yes, the bezel on the left-hand side is thicker and it's asymmetrical, but that's led to the best hinge on any foldable device ever. Yes, you heard me correct. The hinge on the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold is the sturdiest and best implementation of a hinge yet. And then there's the battery. The capacity is 46,050 milliamp hours, not the smallest, but by no means the biggest. It's about 1,000 milliamp hours behind the Vivo. And because it's paired with the Tensor G4 chip, which is just not as efficient as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, it also loses efficiency points compared to the Vivo X Fold 3 Pro Global. And then when that battery does die, 25 watts of wired charging and 7.5 watts of wireless charging. Not reverse wireless, that doesn't exist on this. Just normal wireless charging at 7.5 watts. Yeah, you're going to need to spend a lot of time with a wireless charger if that's the only way you can get some juice in your device. Whereas the Vivo, 50 watts wireless charging, 80 watts or 100 watts depending on where you are for wire charging, and it's a 5700 milliamp hour battery. There was no way that any foldable phone was going to be number 1 on my list other than the Vivo. I get asked this daily in the comment section on Instagram. Do I still recommend the X Fold 3 Pro? Absolutely. You can get the Chinese version of the X Fold 3 Pro, which, by the way, has Android Auto rolled out to over 50% of the devices, with the rest coming in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So the differences between the Chinese ROM and global ROM are getting narrower and narrower. And I have to call it out here, FunTouch OS on the global version of the X Fold 3 Pro is trash compared to Origin OS on the Chinese version. So if you're in the market for either the global or the Chinese, I have both at the Average Dad Tech store, and you're looking at about £1,100 to get a Vivo X Fold 3 Pro Chinese version in your hands. Unbelievable value for money. So that was my top 5, but please let the debate begin in the comment section. Tell me your top 5. Do you agree with my top 5? Did I miss something out about a phone that was either really good that I should have mentioned or really bad? Again, this video wasn't too in depth. It was just a bit of fun because Floss mentioned his top 5. And again, how can Flossy have the Vivo at number 5? Doesn't make any sense to me. He did shout out Xiaomi, and I have to as well. The Mix Fold 4 doesn't get as much love as it probably deserves. It has just really good everything. Really good display, good battery, good chipset, good cameras. I guess where the Mix Fold 4 doesn't excel in is just being great. It isn't great in any category. It isn't the lightest, it isn't the thinnest, it isn't the most powerful, it isn't the best cameras. But it just does everything really good. And that's why it scored high in my full review this year that I made earlier on. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I'll be back soon with my full review of that Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the Huawei Mate XT. And if you haven't seen already on my YouTube community page, I have 3 returned mint condition Honor Magic V3 global versions for sale. 2 in black for £1,050, 1 in red for £1,100. You can message me on Instagram if you're interested. I am also open to offers for the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold and the Google Pixel 9 Pro XL. However, I'm really not desperate to sell them. If you've enjoyed this video, smash like, keep the debate going in the comments, and until next time,